put himself in harm's way for his community for 43 years. And today, that community said, thank you.
People don't realize what we had to put up with on that beach.
As America heads to theaters to see a World War II story we don't know very well, we meet a man living in Colorado who was on Dunkirk Beach and made it out. He won't call, he won't talk. Senator Cory Gardner seems to be avoiding us like someone after a really bad date. And Kyle's rather creepy run-in with Frontier has us asking, what does an airline know about you? And how can they use it? Next. 43 years. That's how long Mike Freeman served his community. He began his career at Cherry Hills Village Fire Department, and it ended at South Metro, where he was the longest serving member in that team's history. Today, his brothers and sisters in public safety filled the pews of a church in Cherry Hills Village to say goodbye, and Arnold Brennan was there.
South Metro has lost an icon, and our community has lost a hero.
If there was a driving force behind this sea of blue, it was Mike Freeman.
Mike had the nickname Free.
The engineer who marched to the beat of his own drum.
And I can remember that beat on many occasions not being in concert with many of his officers or chiefs.
A free spirit with an open ear and a shoulder to lean on.
A number of you have said Mike was peer support before there was peer support. Mike was simply the most understanding, patient, compassionate, and caring person I've ever known.
He fought 43 years worth of fires, most of that career with South Metro.
You see, we are all of us intertwined. We are all a family.
A family of firefighters knows how hard Mike fought these past 2 months.
Everyone in this room has been impacted by cancer. Many of us by a line of duty death.
A brain tumor took Mike's life on Sunday.
Engineer Michael B. Freeman, badge number 7401. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being my friend. I love you, brother.
It may be time to say goodbye, but no one expects an engineer to give up the wheel.
I know my dad will forever ride on, forever watch over all of us. And if there's fires in heaven, I know he's putting them out. I love you, Dad.
One final call. Is all that's left to answer.
Engineer Freeman, you have answered your final alarm as our most senior firefighter. Rest in peace, Mike. We have it from here.
Surrounded by a sea of blue, Mike can finally rest on his last ride. For next, I'm Noel Brennan.
More than 100 firefighters from outside agencies showed up to honor Mike today. About 46 fire rigs, along with police cars and motorcycles, took part in a procession after that service. Well, another day, another request to talk to Senator Cory Gardner. He's in Colorado speaking at the Western Conservative Summit tonight. And our Marshall Zellinger put in our 7th request this month to chat with the senator.
We've been patient with Senator Cory Gardner. We wanted to sit down with Gardner or stand up and talk with him. It really didn't matter, just as long as we got to ask questions on our mind and probably yours, mainly about health care and if he will support a repeal without a replacement like he was willing to in 2015. While we were told he wasn't available, his office was sending out a news release about the Canyons of the Ancients National Monument. Yesterday it was about grants for Colorado Springs and Pueblo airports. We've asked 7 times this month to talk with Gardner. He also wasn't available on July 7th, and again July 10th, July 14th, and every day this week except Monday. We didn't ask on Monday because who likes Mondays? We've been patient with Senator Cory Gardner. It's a virtue. It also wears thin.
The senator hasn't made himself available to talk to 9 News in 7 weeks. We'll keep asking, and you'll know when we do get him to agree to chat with us. A big shakeup at the White House today that has big implications at Saturday Night Live. Melissa McCarthy needs a new gig. Sean Spicer resigned as press secretary after the president named a new communications director. And it got us wondering, what's really the difference between those two positions? Andrew Scaramucci is the new communications director for the White House. Consider him the Toby Ziegler from the West Wing, the person who manages the communications staff, crafts policy and strategy, and communicates with the public and keeps White House employees up to speed. Sean Spicer was the press secretary. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is the new press secretary, and that's what C.J. Craig did on the West Wing, the person who communicates directly with the public and reporters on a daily basis. Now, there's a certain job posting on Andrew Hudson's Colorado's jobs list today, Director of Communications for Frontier Airlines, also known as Jim Faulkner's previous job. He was let go early. His last day was supposed to be today. And we have a feeling that it had to do with that sassy email he wrote Kyle earlier this week. It's posted on Frontier's website too, the job that is, not the email. Under abilities in that listing, it says, ability to communicate effectively and work under pressure. We'll leave you to decide whether or not Jim effectively communicated. After Frontier Airlines admitted to looking up Kyle Clark's travel records, we wondered how much information an airline has on travelers and who gets to see it. So our Anastasia Bolton read the terms of service.
The airline industry is like a bunch of hoarders if hoarders share their stuff. Everything they have on you. Surprise! You agreed to all of it. The little square you click before buying the ticket, agreeing to the terms and conditions no one ever reads, it's there. If you read it every time, email me. Let's talk. We looked at privacy policies for Frontier, United, and Southwest. On its website, Frontier tells you it will keep all the information you give the company during booking. Their agents have access to it. Anytime you email Frontier, they can keep that. The company says it will give the info to whoever they want to. They choose. United will share your data with advertisers and other partners. On its website, the airline says it can collect information from your social media accounts and other online activity. All three airlines stress they don't sell your information, they share it. Southwest says it can get your income range, zip code, and travel preferences from other companies. Agents, vendors, and consultants can get access to it. If you tag Southwest on social media, it could go into the same treasure chest with your name on it. I told you, hoarders. You can find all of this under the Terms of Service, subsection C, paragraph D, under section H. You get the idea. You can opt out of some of the sharing by contacting every single airline directly. But you cannot not agree to the Terms of Service. The little box really loves acknowledgement. For Next, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
By the way, all the airlines say they are not saving info on kids 13 and younger, if that's any consolation. May I make a recommendation? This is where we point you towards something, anything that isn't ours, but is worth your time. Today, Westward posted an article about Kyle's war of words with Frontier Airlines. Westward did a Q&A segment with Kyle this morning about how it all unfolded. They ask about whether or not he was surprised by the response he received from Frontier. They ask about whether or not Frontier's response was seen as over the top. And they also ask about whether or not Kyle is boycotting the airline. There's a link to the article in the next section of 9news.com, and we'll also put it on the next Facebook page. See those clouds bringing storms this afternoon? They're bringing us a nice cool down for the weekend, too. It might be cool enough to climb a tree, though we don't suggest doing this at home. And this World War II vet called us to share the real story about the Battle of Dunkirk.
I said, I can't swim. He said, come with me, he said, I'll get you out.
The story behind the blockbuster, next.
Congratulations, you made it through the week. We can see the weekend from here. And I also see these clouds bringing rain showers around the metro area tonight. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin, and it was another day with hot highs in the 90s in spite of the fact we had the cloud cover and the rain around the area. Storms are tracking from the southwest toward the northeast. No hail in these storms as of yet, but a lot of wind, a lot of lightning, and the flash flood watch continues for western Colorado. A lot of moisture coming our way from the southwest. And tomorrow, a good chance we'll see a repeat performance with morning sunshine, afternoon thunderstorms. Some of those storms slow moving, capable of producing brief, heavy rainfall. Rain we desperately need. We're down for the year by about 2 inches of precipitation. And so, after kind of a stormy night and a stormy start to your weekend, things calm down a little bit. We'll drop into the mid-60s tonight and then look for a cooling trend for the weekend. 80s, something we haven't seen in a while. 86 Saturday. Sunday looks like it's going to be the drier of the 2 days, and then, well, we turn up the heat again. Back to the mid-90s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those that got an early jump on their weekend by driving to the high country, we've been driving in rain all day on I-70, but wow, that view. And I'm wearing my Rockies purple tonight, so go Rockies. Steve, I know you're a big fan.
Go Rockies. Love the Rockies. Thanks, Kathy. The most Colorado thing we saw today, a first 14er for Scion and Savion. Savion is 10, Scion is 13. Both were born and raised in Lone Tree. They climbed Mount Bierstadt with their very proud Grandpa Larry this week. Larry has hiked every 14er in Colorado in 2010 and really wants his grandsons to experience the life Colorado offers. By the way, that is the most Colorado thing we saw today. Now, if those 14er hikers were not the most Colorado thing we saw today, what about a tree climbing race? 45 people raced up a tree in Wash Park today. Sounds hard, but many of them are arborists who are paid to go up and down trees, trimming them in the first place. A clock starts as soon as they leave the ground, and then when they ring the bell at the top of the tree, it stops, and the fastest time was about 16 seconds.
You can see all these people here watching you, and one misstep can be a little damaging to your pride. So, you know, you're out here for guts and glory today.
Could be a little damaging to something else, too. Winners get what all climbers want, new rope and a qualifying spot in the, and I didn't know this was a thing, North American Tree Climbing Championship in Salt Lake City. The competition continues in Wash Park tomorrow afternoon.
You know, these young people should learn about it and hear about it, what happened before America went into the war.
A British veteran living in Colorado tells the real tale of the Battle of Dunkirk. It's a sign that the bingo business is booming. And our new friend Tommy meets his idol next. People will pack into movie theaters this weekend to see a story we Americans don't know very well. The story of the Battle of Dunkirk in World War II and the 338,000 Allied troops who made it out alive a year before America would join that effort. John Carpenter will be in the audience with his family this weekend, likely seeing this movie in a much different way because he is one of those troops who made it out. This story begins like so many others of this era. It starts with a postcard that carried a call to duty.
I got back to the wife and said, I'm in the bloody army, I said. Oh, she said, no. I said, oh, I'm in the bloody army. So she said, all right. She said, well, you'll have to make do, won't you?
John Carpenter left his London flat and got a uniform in 1939, just months before Britain declared war.
I said to myself, what am I doing here, going to war?
He arrived in France shortly after and soon found himself at the center of a German surprise attack.
All of a sudden, bump, the retreat came on. And the officer said to us, you are on your own.
Every man for himself. John and a friend began to retreat and took shelter in an abandoned French home.
This was hanging up in a house where we stayed for a couple of hours.
John grabbed the crucifix and a rosary and made a promise that he would give it to his mom. Then he ran for the beach.
Little boats from England was coming in, a fishing boat, a paddle boat, you know, and the boys were swimming out, you know, and every man was for himself.
John,
people don't realise what we had to put up with on that beach.
Couldn't swim.
And I just lay down on the beach and said, that's it. I couldn't care less what happened.
He says a Scottish soldier came along and helped drag him through the water and out to a pedal steamer, which eventually brought him home.
Well, I was lucky, really, but it upset me to see so many of those boys who get killed like it. And I felt terrible when I got back.
It's a feeling that never really left him. What a 20-year-old man witnessed still plays in the mind of this 99-year-old. But he's still here, and glad the rest of the world will get to see the heroism he witnessed all those years ago.
It did affect me, but I'll get over it when I get home.
John and his wife moved to the States in the 70s, and they settled down in Parker. She passed away a couple of years ago. John's granddaughter will take him to see the movie this weekend, and if you see him, be sure to thank him for his service. It's a sign spotted by Next viewer Brett Arnold. Says, support bingo. Keep grandma off the streets. He says he saw it at Barry's Bingo near the intersection of Federal and Jewel. This made us laugh out loud in the office when Brett sent this in. If you see a sign that makes you laugh, send it to us. Email next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. Here's another thing that made us laugh. 2-year-old Tommy, who is in Lone Tree, loves the Rockies, and he really loves one player in particular.
Leading off and playing center field from the Colorado Rockies, Charlie Blackmon.
It's Charlie Blackmon! Yay! He's here! Charlie Blackmon! Yay! Charlie Blackmon!
Tommy's dad took that video. It circulated all around the internet this week, which worked in little Tommy's favor because today he got to meet the one and only Charlie Blackmon. This afternoon, it all happened this afternoon. Tommy's dad sent us some photos and some video. He got a ball, a jersey, and a poster signed. We thought we should share this little piece of joy with you. Well, it is Friday, and you know what that means. We're going to share everyone's piece of joy. Your good news next. We end your work week the way we always do, on a happy note. This time we asked our new friend John Carpenter, who you met earlier tonight on Next, what his good news is.
Because me pictures going on the television.
Well, there you go.
That's why I'm happy.
That's a pretty good reason to be happy. We also asked you on Facebook what your good news was today. Here are a few of your responses. Trish says, I have a job interview for a job I really want. That's awesome. Danny says, my 9-week-old's Echo came back. Beautiful and normal. Children's Hospital in Highlands Ranch has been amazing caring for him. We couldn't not show you this adorable picture. That's Wyatt Angus, happy as can be. Jessica says, I'm a surrogate and currently 23 weeks pregnant with triplet boys, and all is well. Eric says, approved for an organ transplant. Thank you, donors. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you next time.